Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing tonight? And welcome to another great edition of Titans and Truth. I am your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and we're going to definitely get into a very good episode on this riveting edition this evening. Basically, this is a do or die episode because that is exactly the position that we're in. It is a do or die situation as the Tennessee Titans fell 25-23 to the San Francisco 49ers. And I just want to give a few last thoughts on what happened with that game. Of course, if you're on Facebook Live, you can definitely check out on the Titans and Truth fan page my reaction show that I did on Facebook Live on the Titans and Truth fan page. Definitely share this show out to everybody. Send word out to everybody that's what's going on. Also, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to this channel. You'll get all the episodes and everything. I'm going to try to get it quickly up on the website as well. That's going to be there also. And you can definitely check it out here, the Titans and Truth fan page on Facebook. Also, you can check me out on Instagram at Blue_Enforcer. That's EN4CER 1914. And also on Twitter at capital TNTB and then lowercase LUEN4CER. That's TNT Blue Enforcer. So those are where you can find me. You can definitely follow me there. But let's get right into this episode and let's talk about a little bit of what's happening here. Titans are in a bad spot right now. They're in a tough spot. They're 8-6 after having a disastrous road trip out west where they fell to the San Francisco 49ers. It was a tough game. One that we saw that the offense, Marcus, and the offense kind of slowly came back to form when they kind of went no huddle, went a little bit faster, which is a little bit more towards Marcus Mariota's forte. That is where he is the most comfortable. And they kind of ran that the majority of the game. I know that's something you can't do all the time, but they did that quite often, and it was very, very effective. Now, he went to the tune of 241 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns. Did not turn the ball over at all, which is a very, very good sign that we saw from Marcus Mariota. Now, the running game was a little bit non-existent. It looked like there was a little bit of success early on, but it did not continue. And as you saw, there was only about 25 carries in between. 18 carries, 59 yards for DeMarco Murray, and only 7 carries for 19 yards for Derrick Henry, which he probably should have gotten a few more carries than he was receiving at the time. But not a bad output on the offense, but there were some opportunities. Of course, Delaney Walker dropped a touchdown and fumbled, which he had a pretty bad game. I have to be honest on that. And, of course, we'll get to a very controversial 3rd and 2 in just a little bit. On the other side, the defense failed. The defense was just not very good. They did not stop Jimmy Garoppolo. He torched them from jump. 381 yards. I believe he had 1 touchdown. But the secondary as a whole just was not very good. Logan Ryan went out with an ankle injury, and that made matters worse. Adoree Jackson dropped a surefire interception that he should have had. Probably could have ended the game. There was a terrible call by the refs. Eric Walden went up with Marquise Goodwin and had an interception. And it clearly, from a good angle on the San Francisco sideline, Walden had the ball in his right hand, but they decided that the offensive player got it, and the ball stayed with the offense. So that led to a touchdown. That was not a good thing. But it was a tough game all around for the defense. I just think the secondary, again, just did not play well. Byard did not play well. Adoree Jackson had a couple bad moments. Jonathan Cyprien looked horrible. He just does not. I think we're going to have to address the strong safety position either in free agency or the draft, because Jonathan Cyprien is not it. If that's what a strong safety is supposed to be, that's not it. That's not good enough for me. So we're going to have to look at something at a strong safety and maybe another corner in the draft, because anytime I see Bryce McCain in the game, it just frightens me to death. But another point I wanted to make, let's get to the coaching, because I think a lot of people have said coaching was the issue. Coaching was the reason we lost this game. And there have been some questions about Mike Mularkey's in-game management that can be put into question. A lot of you heard me last week when I said that I'm done with Terry Robisky. I've been done with him. I think he's gone at the end of the year. But I told all of you that if the Titans did not win this game, that my anger would shift to Mike Mularkey. And it is time to do that. It is time to shift to Mike Mularkey. The question is Mike Mularkey the right coach for this team? I mean, let's go back to Arizona. The fake punt, which was ridiculous to do in that situation, cost you 3 points. It ended up costing you the game. In this situation, the Titans were driving. They have a 3rd and 2. They have a chance. They have a chance to possibly ice this game, have it set up where Ryan Succop kicks the game-winning field goal, calls it a day. Instead, Mike Mularkey, Marcus Mariota's in a rhythm, and instead of calling a pass play, he decides to call a running play on 3rd and 2, and with that, he decided to go with DeMarco Murray instead of Derrick Henry on a shotgun handoff, and you lost a yard. And so it ended up Ryan Succop kicked a 50-yard field goal, but we left time on the clock. We left over a minute on the clock, and with Jimmy Garoppolo being as hot as he is, that is no time for him to do anything. And, he marched right down the field. I don't know what happened with the defense. They left the middle of the field open. 2 plays, they're already in the field goal range. Bang, Robbie Gould kicks. His 6th kick is over. And so there are a lot of questions about Mike Mularkey. Is he the right guy for this team? And I posted this as a Blue Bombshell question, that if the Titans somehow lose out, is Mike Mularkey gone? And I left a poll on the Titans of Truth fan page. I want y'all to go there and take a look at that. Does Mike Mularkey get fired? Or does he get extended to get his own offensive coordinator? Or does he go into a lame duck season? Because remember, Mike Mularkey signed a 3-year deal. Next year is year 3. He will be going into what we call a lame duck season, which means prove it. You don't have the security of an extension, so if you don't perform, you're not coming back. The only problem with that is you're not really going to be able to get a good assistant coach or a good offensive coordinator, because they're going to be like, why would I come into a lame duck situation when I'm not secure, when I don't have security of a job? And so, I'm seeing some comments, coming in on YouTube. I can't read them fast enough, y'all, so I apologize on that, but I'll definitely respond to them. But, I mean, it is going to be important. Like Shane said, if we win these games at home, obviously there's something we need to do to fix how we're playing on the road. And I agree with that. And then, of course, Mama's boy comes in saying, think we need to go no huddle. Mularkey knows his job is on the line and his way is not working. I definitely agree with that. And also, I just think he's got to know how to adapt. And that is a major problem that we have. Quit not planning for your opponent. You should know how to attack your opponent's weaknesses instead of just saying, we're going to run the ball. We're going to establish the run. We're going to establish the run. Every team we play in the league knows that we're going to try to establish the run. That's why they're trying to sell out to stop it. That is why the 25th ranked defense against the run sold out to stop the run and held you to only 78 yards of rushing. So, I mean, we all know that you're going to run the ball, Mike. That's the problem. You don't adjust and adapt. You just keep running. You know, Robisky has said it himself. He keeps running some of the same plays out there, you know, saying, well, if it doesn't work before, it'll work this time. That's not how this works. That's not how that's going to go. You know? And I mean, that's why I have a major problem. That's why I feel like Mike Mularkey's job is on the line. Because if you don't adjust and adapt to your players, that's going to cause major problems. And you've already seen Rashard Matthews coming out saying, I wish Marcus was calling the shots instead of Robisky. You have some other players like that feeling the same way. I think Mike Mularkey and Terry Robisky are losing this locker room. They are losing faith from the players. They don't believe that the system that's going on is going to work. And if you're going out there with that mentality, then it's not going to work. And we're going to have major problems. And so, I think Mike Mularkey's job is on the line. He better get in the playoffs, or John Robinson might be looking to go in a different direction. Because if you don't make the playoffs, this season will be a massive failure. Because, think about this. Mularkey and everybody came out in the beginning and said, our goal is to win the division. Well, you need to win these 2 games to do that. And the reason why I say it's a lot more pressure, expectations change throughout the season. This might be, and I say might be a bit different if you had Deshaun Watson, Andrew Luck, J.J. Watt all healthy. But the problem that I have, and the reason why I feel Mike Mularkey's job is on the line, is because you had no excuse to win this division. You had no excuse to beat some of these teams. Everything was pointing to you winning the division. Everything went your way. Deshaun Watson goes out with an injury. He's out for the year. J.J. Watt, Whitney Mercer's out for the year. Andrew Luck, we don't know if he's ever going to play again. All of that went your way. And Jacksonville has Blake Bortles as a quarterback, which somehow he is playing lights out. But everything in the division was going your way. You had Arizona. All you had to do was score one other touchdown. You win that game. San Francisco. If Mike Mularkey calls a pass play and Marcus hits it, you got a chance to milk the clock down. Bang, Ronnie Sucker kicks the field goal. We're at least 9-4. We're at least 9-5, excuse me. But as a comment came through that I saw earlier, we really should be 10-4 right now. And then with the Miami game, we should be 11-3. We really should. And we have squandered a lot of opportunities. And now our backs are against the wall. It's do or die. We have to win these 2 games if we're going to win the division or get into the playoffs. All Jacksonville has to do is beat San Francisco. They've won the division. That could have been us. We could have been in a situation where if we beat San Francisco, we're in the playoffs. Plain and simple. If we beat San Francisco and Arizona, we're in the playoffs right now. No questions asked. If we beat San Francisco, we'd have an easier chance to clinch a playoff spot, whether it be a victory over the Rams or it could have been with a loss from somebody. Now we got to win these 2 games to get in. And there's a scenario where if we finish in a 3-way tie, if Buffalo and Baltimore win out, and even if we do, we're on the outside looking in. So, Mike Mularkey better realize his job is on the line. Even though in a lot of people's mind, they're thinking that he will be coming back. But Robinski's going to have to go. They're going to have to be like, you're going to have to find us a new offensive coordinator. Somebody that will not think the same. And I think he's going to be in the same situation as Mike Munchak. They're going to be like, you need to find you a new offensive coordinator. Fire Terry Robinski or you're out. Plain and simple. That's what I think is going to happen. And so, that's all I got to say about that. I know Johnny Goodman comes in. Bonfire Johnny came in and said, you know what? You got to remember where we're coming from. You got to remember where we're coming from. We were 2-14, 3-13, 5-27, 2 years prior to when Mike Mularkey was fully the head coach. That is understandable. But that is different if we went from 3-13 to like 6-10 and now to 8-8 or 9-7. We went from 3-13 to 9-7 last year. And we're supposed to be heading up to like 10-6 or 11-5. And we may not get there. If we do not make the playoffs and lose out, it is a massive failure. You don't win the division. You don't get into the playoffs. That is a massive failure. And I would even say we need a new offensive coordinator even if we get in the playoffs. So some things have got to change. Some things have got to change. But now it is time to look and see who will be our two-tone blue star of the week. And before I get to that, of course, I want to give some comments. Of course, Johnny Goodman saying Marcus calling the plays of the new OC as his assistant is worth a try besides the interruption of the entire Smash Mouth system. Drop the exotic and old school. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. You couldn't have said it better. I agree that we really need to just go to a system that's better fit for Marcus. Don't be trying to put this Smash Mouth idea down everybody's throats. And we have got to make a style that's better for Marcus and fit the running game around that. That is where we need to go. So, I need to take a look. I'm trying to see we got any nominees for Star of the Week. I know some people said I had a couple of nominees for Marcus. Let's see. Give me just a moment. It's just taking a minute, y'all. Bear with me. But yeah, I think Marcus could definitely be a nominee because he, definitely played better than he has in weeks. The offense looked better than it did in weeks. Morocco came in, said Star of the Week, Marcus Mariota, Dunce of the Day, Mike Mularkey. Definitely worth noting. Definitely has some more nominees coming in. Let's see. Shane says Star of the Week, Marcus Mariota, big bounce back game. Seeing the potential which offense can be. We're running no huddle, letting them call the shots. Dunce, Mike Mularkey. We gave Derrick Henry 7 damn carries the whole game, which I definitely can agree with that. Brandon says Star of the Week, Marcus Mariota. What's up, Chris Epps? Shane, how y'all doing? Brandon says Star of the Week, Marcus Mariota. Dunst is a toss-up between Walker and instead of player, it's the play and gets Dunce of the Day. A crucial 3rd and 2 play. It's not stupid not to opt out of it. I definitely understand that. That was definitely a bad play right there. So, there's definitely a lot of Dunce of the Day nominations to go around. But it looks like, and I'm trying to see if there's a couple more before I get with that. But it looks like there is a pretty good consensus of where the Star of the Week is headed. And it looks like the two-tone blue Star of the Week is going to be none other than, you said it, Marcus Mariota. He definitely did his job and did it well. It was not his fault what happened. He played extremely well. He was efficient. The no huddle offense fits him. And that is exactly where we need to go. But now it is time for the dunce of the day. The bad side of it. And there's some nominees. Of course, Brandon said the play being 3rd and 2. I'm seeing like Blackjack 14-14 coming in saying Delaney Walker for the drop touchdown as well as the fumble. And that is a warranted suggestion as far as I'm concerned. Delaney Walker had a very, very bad game. Chris Epps says the refs. I understand that point. Definitely being with the missed interception from Eric Walden. I could definitely see where a case could be made for that. And I mean, there are, you can't, there's not enough Dunce of the Day nominations to go around. And I mean, for me to say Terry Robisky, like I said last week, he is Dunce of the Year. So without a doubt, it's Terry Robisky. But I think there will be a tie for Dunce of the Day. And I'm going to go back and read a couple of comments. Let me see on that. Yeah. Definitely, he said, Shane said Dunce of the week. Mike Mularkey mostly gave seven carries the whole game. His second game in a row, I feel that he was taking a load in the fourth quarter. If he had taken a load, we would have won. There was a stretch he had where it seemed like 254 quarter yards in 4 games, and we had elected not to use him in the fourth anymore. Utterly ridiculous, and it's costed us the most important stat. Wins. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Brandon, of course, came in and said, the play being the 3rd and 2, it was stupid not to opt out of that. And, of course, toss up with Delaney Walker. So I'm going to give the tie of Dunce of the Day, co-Dunce of the Days, to Mike Mularkey for that terrible 3rd and 2 call, and Delaney Walker for dropping a touchdown and for the fumble. And Delaney Walker is supposed to be Marcus's most consistent weapon. He is supposed to be the top weapon for Marcus Mariota, and he was not that. So I definitely have to give Dunce of the Day to Delaney Walker and Mike Mularkey. So, with that being said, I'm going to give a quick love from our sponsors. First off, I give love to Rose Jewels Boutique and Allison Conley. Definitely hit her up. If you're looking for some great jewelry, ladies, I know a lot of you are definitely out there looking for some nice jewelry. You can make it tailor-made to you and make it to your style to fit you. Fellas, she can also make jewelry for you as well. She can make it like bracelets or, even necklace with some bling. She could definitely do that as well. And, that is something I always support. My wife has been, a customer of hers for a long time. She got a couple of bracelets that Allison made for her. And, definitely... you can definitely check her out at rosejewelboutique.com, or you can check out her Facebook page, Rose Jewels Boutique on Facebook, and also on Instagram at Rose Jewels Boutique. And also, Craftgasmic Creations, as well. I've been telling y'all about, my cousin LaCrystal Cleveland, for about the last month. She made my, Titans and Truth shirt, that y'all may have seen me wear my navy blue shirt. She's making me another one. I think she might be making me a shirt and a hoodie, as well. So, definitely check her out at Craftgasmic Creations on Facebook, also on, Instagram as well. And, definitely send her some love and definitely hit her up. If you want, like, the same shirt that I have, she can make it for you. So definitely, give her a shout out. and she could definitely make those type of shirts for you for any occasion, birthday, family reunion, or Titans of Truth. So definitely hit her up for that. But now it is time to get to pick my brain. Pick my brain. And before I get to that, I also wanted to give a shout out. I saw another comment on YouTube basically saying also you can't leave out the D. Definitely the defense do deserve some blame. I mean, they left wide open lanes all over the place. And I mean, you had Goodwin, you had somebody named Bourne, you had another Selleck, Garrett Selleck, and Kittle running all over you. That's not a good sign. So yes, the defense has to take some blame as well. So I won't leave the defense out. Dick LeBeau has to take a little bit of blame. I think for the most part they've done well, but they've got to get better against the pass. And I think that starts at free safety as well as getting another good linebacker that can cover the middle of the field as well. But we're about to get to some pick my brain. I'm going to take just a quick second, a quick breather. And we're definitely going to get into these questions. But, I want to say thank y'all to everybody who have been tuning in, who's been keeping up with Titans of Truth for the longest. Thank y'all so much for your support. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the reason why I keep doing what I'm doing. Again, spread the word. I want to get my subscribers up. I want to get to over 300 by the end of the year. So I'm definitely trying to get there. So you guys are helping me get there. So thank y'all. Please keep doing what you're doing. But let's get into pick my brain. And let's get into some of these questions. First, I got Shane Alvarado, who says, do you feel that our winning streak... Hey, y'all, excuse me, I got my computer up here. But he says, do you feel that with our winning streak at home, we have a legitimate shot these last two games? Yes, we do have a legitimate shot at home. I mean, I think we play better at home. That's going to also be up to us. We got to be there to support them. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town visiting family for Christmas, but I am going to either be watching if it comes on up there, or I'm going to be listening on 104.5. So you better believe I'm going to be listening and paying attention. But I think if we come out and show support, they need us. They need us now more than ever if we're going to get to the playoffs. They're going to need us to be there, be loud and proud. So we're at home. We got to have that home field advantage. What do we need to do or key on to beat the Rams? That's a question, Shane, that I'm going to get to in my preview of the Rams game. So I'm definitely going to tell you my 4 points to victory, what the Titans need to do to win that game. If we somehow lit up both the Rams and the Jags, got into the playoffs, would you still feel the same about Mularkey and Robisky? Everybody knows how I feel about Terry Robisky, so that's not even a secret. And I will never change how I feel about that. Mularkey, if we get into the playoffs and the offense looks a little bit better, maybe I change my mind a little bit. But I think if we get in the playoffs, I mean, yeah, he'll probably stay, but I don't think he gets extended. Let's see. Blackjack 14 comes in. Do you really believe that removing Robisky is the answer? I hate his play calling, but at the end of the day, he's running Mularkey's system. That is an excellent point. That's a point that I think I made last week. If Mularkey is going to stay, he's going to have to change his philosophy. He's going to have to change his approach just a bit. He's going to have to fit it towards Marcus a little bit more. And if he's not willing to do that, he's not going to be around much longer. So I agree with that because, I mean, all Mularkey's going to end up doing is bringing in somebody who's going to run the exact same system the way Mularkey wants it. And we'll be right back at this exact same point next year. So, I mean, Mularkey and Robisky could be in a way tied together. So I can see that happening. What are the positions you see at this point we need to address the most? Um, I'm going to say mainly on the defensive side, we need to do some work. I would say first off, we definitely need Shane to we need to go up the middle. We need pass rush. We can't have enough pass rushers. We need a pass rush on the edge. We need a pass rusher who can play down in a 3-4 system, or even if we do get a new coach and they go back to the 4-3 system, which I would prefer that, by the way. You need defensive tackles that can rush the passer, as well as defensive ends, outside linebackers. We need a legit badass middle linebacker, maybe that could go with Woodyard or with Jayon Brown. I think Avery Williamson is playing his last 2 games as a Titan, because I haven't seen it where he gives me any reason to bring him back, and I think we need a strong safety, because Jonathan Cyprian is not the answer. And we could probably use another cornerback, because I think Bryce McCain is also going to be gone. So I think we could use another superstar corner that could be on the other side of Adoree, put Logan Ryan in the slot. We also need a guard. I think guard is going to be addressed in the draft and free agency as well. So I think that's definitely going to be an option we have to look at. Now, Brandon comes in with a question saying, with talks of barely getting info, if we do make the playoff, will the Titans organization still be willing to clean house with coaching staff? And by a staff, I mean, don't get me wrong, Mularkey is hanging by a thin string. I say give him 1 more year, but everyone else except LeBeau. And I mean full coaching staff, even strength and conditioning coach. Also, with new uniforms next year, do you think a little swag will help with character building for our rookies? You know what? I think even if we make the playoff, there will have to be some major staff changes. And again, like I said earlier, if Mularkey ain't willing to change, he'll be out the door too. And I mean, as much as I give Steve Watterson some credit, he's been around for over 30 years. But the fact that we've had this huge string of hamstring injuries makes me question the strength and conditioning program. I mean, we shouldn't be having Corey Davis with a hamstring, Cyprian with a hamstring, Mariota with a hamstring, DeMarco Murray with a hamstring. I mean, my God, how many hamstring injuries can we have in one season? I mean, we've had plenty. We've had a lot of hamstring injuries this year. And so, I can still see it a way where they do clean house, but I think if we get in the playoffs, they'll make changes, but I don't think Mularkey will be gone. But I think if they miss the playoffs, I could definitely see that happening. Without a doubt, I could definitely see that happening. So, but yeah, absolutely. So, I'm just looking at some other questions. I know I have plenty of other questions. Of course, Johnny Goodman coming in with a comment saying, let players play. I agree with that. You got to let the players play the game. Okay. Yeah. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. I apologize again for the pause. Just making sure I had all my questions up, because I put them on different sites, different pages. So, I got to check out all the Titans pages. I'm going to read some other comments as well. I'll probably read some comments at the end, so excuse me for that. I'm definitely going to get to that. And I know Tyler Westro, one of my big time supporters, I know he had, as usual, bunches of questions for me. So I'm definitely getting there. Let's see. Mama's Boy. Do you think us losing to a 30-year-old coach next week will be the boiling point for Amy? Now, I mean, we already had a first-year head coach, Kyle Shanahan, out-coach Dick LeBeau and Mike Mularkey. I mean, if a 30-year-old coach does out-coach you, that's not good at all. with no experience, but Sean McVay has that Ram team on a whole different level. I can't lie. They have them believing. He's got that offensive system right where Jared Goff would like to be. And they're playing aggressive. They're playing free. They're playing like a young team that's looking to make a statement. And they're doing it. They're doing it well. They are definitely doing it well. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Now, Tyler comes in and says, he's been, to be honest, since the 49ers game, been in a bad mood toward the Titans. I guess it's still from getting my hopes up, but I'll throw a couple of questions, which he will. I know he will. He said, do you think we haven't heard anything at all from Amy Adams-Strunk or John Robinson because they're trying not to cause a distraction, or do you think it will come, meaning their own thoughts and views on how to go forward? I wouldn't expect to hear anything from Amy Adams-Strunk at all. I think at some point her and John Robinson are going to sit down with Mike Mularkey. I think by the end of the year, something is going to be coming out. Something's going to be said. But I think right now they're not really going to say much. I don't think there's really a lot that they can say at this particular moment. But I do think at the end of the season, some stuff is going to come out. Number 2, have you noticed Titan fans seem divided? You have some screaming, I'm not going to give up. Then you have some people screaming, everyone needs to be fired. He says, me personally, I had people call me dumb for feeling the way I do. Just try to be realistic. That's something important that does need to be discussed. We don't need to be divided. If you're a Titan fan, be a Titan fan. I've said this before. We can all agree to disagree. There are going to be times, I know there are times that I've said some stuff and some of you out there disagree with me. And I think if we can agree to disagree, you ain't got to disrespect somebody. You ain't got to call them dumb. You ain't got to call them stupid. You ain't got to call them, full of crap. You ain't gotta, call nobody names and call them out of their name, disrespecting them, or anything like that, just because they feel differently than you do. I mean, yes, we need to be together. We need to stick with this team. We gotta stick together as a fan base. Divided we fall. Together we stand, and we have to stand together. Before I get to some more questions from Tyler, I saw a question from Blackjack. He said on YouTube, he said, is there something wrong with Adoree? Return game hasn't been there. I think Adoree's just made some bad decisions as far as he's let the ball bounce some, and he kind of goes backward a little bit. I think it's not more so Adoree. I think it's more so the blocking in front of him has to be better. Because, all Adoree has to do is have a lane, make one guy miss, and he can take it to the house at any time. So, I think Adoree's just making some rookie mistakes. I think he'll learn from it and be better, but the rest of the special teams have to be better in front of him. Let's see. Question number 3, I feel the team is divided. No one is screaming Terry Robisky's a genius, and it's easy to see the team is frustrated, and I think a little divided. None of them are going to come right out and say it because they don't want to lose their jobs. Well, in a way, Rashard Matthews did come out and say he would rather have Marcus Mariota running the show. So I can see where there's a little bit of division. I don't think there's a lot of division. I think this team is still together in the locker room. But you can tell some frustration is definitely building up. And that is not a good sign. And but at the same time, they should be angry. They got humiliated out west. And they should be upset and ready to come out, focus, and take out their aggression on the LA Rams. You do that, get yourself right back in the race. And everything will be okay. Let's see. Deep question. What is a fan? Diehard fan. People compare stories trying to out-fan each other. Coming from 1,000 miles away, have tattoos. Others, of course, get into car wrecks to see this team. And there is no true definition of a fan. The truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter if you've been a fan of this team for 30 years or you just became a fan for 30 days. Once you are a fan, be a fan. And the fact of the matter is, my true definition of a fan is somebody who enjoys the team, that will cheer for this team and be there for this team through the good and the bad. I mean, you know, we as a society, we have people that'll jump on the bandwagon late. Yes, I know there are some people who maybe were not football fans at all, or who didn't have a team, and they hatch on to the Titans if they see something good with them, and they hatch on. That's not a bandwagoner. That is somebody that says, you know what? I started watching this team. I like this team. I want to become a fan of them. Bandwagon is somebody that's like, will jump on when they're winning, but then will say, oh, I'm not a Titan fan no more when things go bad. And I'm not saying anybody out here watching on YouTube or comment on Facebook or anything is a bandwagoner. By no means am I not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you're going to be a fan, you become a fan and you stick with this team through thick and thin. I remember sticking with this team. I've been a fan of this team since 1997. Since they moved here from Memphis and from Houston. I have always been a fan. I was a fan of this team when they were 11-5, 13-3, going all the way to the Super Bowl. And I was a fan of this team when they were going 5-11, 4-12 in those late Jeff Fisher years, and they just couldn't buy a win, and they could not keep nobody healthy. And Steve McNair being traded. I was still a fan, and as much as I want to be angry at Bud Adams at the time and the administration at the time when they kept Steve McNair out of the facility while Jeff Fisher was out in Southern Cal scouting Matt Leinart, and they kept him out of the facility because they were afraid of him getting hurt. I was still a fan then. And so that is my definition of a fan. Number 5, do you think Amy will ever sell the team? If so, do you worry about relocation? No. Amy Adams has been committed to Nashville. You know, she's got a house here now. She's been committed. They're not going anywhere. There's no way I see that happening at all. Number 6, do you find it amazing that someone pretended for a long time to be Avery Williamson, put in a lot of time and work to keep the lie going? Player of the week, Water Boys, Dunce of the week, Dunce of the day, coaching staff. Yeah, I did see that fake page because I know one of my guys, Liddell Burnett, he's trying to reach out to Avery Williamson to maybe come down for a bowling tournament that I know the Titans Fan Club of Memphis, they do a big bowling tournament for charity, and they're trying to get some of the players to come down, and that's something that I'm hopefully going to be doing next year for my fraternity for our Bowling for Babies event. And I'm going to tell y'all, if y'all missed Bowling for Babies earlier this month, you missed an event. It was a lot of fun. And next year, I'm definitely going to try to see if we get some players to come out and bowl and join us for that particular event. I think that'll be a great thing. So I hate that catfish was going on with that. So that was kind of messed up. Let's see. Trying to see if there were any other questions that I had out here. And if I forgot to answer any questions, I am so sorry. I'll answer them off the air. But I saw a lot of questions here. I tried to answer as many questions as I could. But as far as I'm concerned, we're going to go ahead and get ready to go into the last part of the show. And that is the preview of the Rams game. And of course, I believe Shane had the question, what do we need to key in on? Yeah. I believe it was Shane. I can't remember who had the question. I apologize. But it was a question of what do we need to key in on to beat the Rams? And that's exactly what I'm about to get into. The Rams coming in. I mean, they are hot. They are coming in very, very hot. They are, right now they're at 10-4. They're 10-4 on the year. If they beat us, they have a chance to win the NFC West. They just came off of an absolute beatdown. Oh, there's Mama's boy. I apologize. Forgot to answer that question. Do you think Marcus should speak up about the play calling? Last year, Todd Gurley spoke up. I say he needs to have some input. He needs to if nobody else, Marcus Mariota definitely should have input on the play calling. I'm not saying he needs to call all the plays, but he needs to have some input on the play calling for this offense. He needs to have some definite input. I agree with that. But back to the Rams. They're coming in 10-4. They just came off of a beatdown that they put on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, 42-7. And, they are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They're ninth offensively. They are number one in scoring, over 30 points a game. That is a tall task for the Titans to stop. And so, that is a very tall task for this team to do. But we're at home. They're going to be coming across the country. The weather might definitely be a question. The weather might be a question as well. So that could be something to definitely keep an eye on. But I give to you my Blue Enforcer 4 points to victory. This is what I think we need to key in on to get a victory. It looks like it'll be 47 degrees. Looks like right now it looks like it's going to be around 47 degrees on Sunday at the moment. So, that's what it's looking like right now. But here are my 4 points to victory. The Blue Enforcer 4 points to victory. And this is what I think we need to key in on to defeat the Rams. First off, you got to shut down. You have got to shut down Todd Gurley first. That is your number one priority. And one way we got to do that, tackle. We have got to wrap up, and we have got to not miss tackles. We have got to be fundamentally sound when we're doing that. And we got to gang tackle. Not just one guy needs to be there. 4 or 5 guys need to be around wrapping Todd Gurley up. You have got to wrap him up, and you got to wrap him up big time. So shut down the run first, and also make sure he is not a factor. Make sure he is not a factor in the passing game as well. Brandon coming in saying we're 5th against the run, which is very true. We are definitely, I believe we're either 5th against the run or 3rd against the run. So, that definitely could be something where we take advantage of that and shut down the run. Then, once we've done that, get after Jared Goff. He doesn't like pressure coming at him. So, we need to get after Jared Goff. Maybe cause some strip sacks. Definitely make him fumble. Let's force some turnovers. We have got to cause some turnovers if we're going to be able to win this game. We have got to cause some turnovers, and we have got to make them make mistakes. And so, if we do those things, we can take care of this offense. Logan Ryan's got to play because they got some legit weapons on the outside with Sammy Watkins, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods. I think if Logan Ryan plays, he needs to be on Sammy Watkins. I would leave Adoree Jackson on Robert Woods. He's pretty fast. And I believe they played together at USC. I take that back. He's a USC alum. I think they went to high school or something together. And then I would put LaShawn Sims on Cooper Kupp. And maybe switch it where LaShawn Sims is on Sammy Watkins and Logan Ryan is on Cooper Kupp at times as well. So that's what I would do to attack those. I would use to attack the offense of the Rams with our defense. And just be aggressive defensively. Get after them and don't let Cooper Kupp or any of these receivers run free because they could be dangerous. You can't let them run free. You got to lock down. Now, point number 3. Marcus and the offense, I'm going to preach it again. Patience. Patience. One thing about this defense And Brandon's coming in saying we need to go no huddle to set up for the big runs. I agree. I've been preaching that for weeks. Use the pass to set up the run. I think we need to come out passing, but come out smart. Because one thing that the Rams defense is, even though they are not good against the run, I believe they're like bottom half of the league against the run. They're opportunistic. They are opportunistic. And Mama's Boy saying Cooper Kupp most productive rookie this year. Do you think that fuels Corey Davis for a big day? That's what I'm getting to. That's what I'm about to get into. Is that we got to be, this is an opportunistic defense. They like to cause turnovers, and they like to take advantage of opportunities when they see them. We have to be patient. We have to be smart. Do not turn over the ball. Do not fumble the ball, Delaney Walker. And this is a game that I think Corey Davis could be effective, or Taywan Taylor. They need to attack the middle of the field, because I went back and looked at a game against the Eagles. And there was a lot of space in the middle of the field for like Torrey Smith and Nelson Aguilar caught some passes over the middle. They need to attack the middle of the field. That is where I think they'll be the most effective, and they can easily march down the field. And I hope a game like this could fuel Corey Davis. I don't know what's going to happen. I think Corey Davis needs to come out and have a big game. They need to run some no-huddle. Maybe not a whole bunch of no-huddle, but maybe what they need to do is already have to play scripted. You get to the line. You take a look at the defense. Run it like a college system in a way. You run it. When you come up to the line, Marcus starts to say, like, set. And then he looks at the coach, looks at to the sideline, maybe looking for a different play. Or if they see something different with the defense, if they change it up, they can audible out of that. So that's something that I think they could use and definitely take advantage of that. But patience on the offensive side. Use the pass to set up the run, and then that sets up Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray. And one last point, you cannot be afraid of this team. You cannot be afraid of them. And, yes, this is a very good defense, a very good team. But I'm talking about on both sides. You cannot be scared of this team. They may be the highest scoring team coming in, but you cannot show fear. You're at home. You're going to have the advantage. You're going to have the crowd behind you. And it's going to be cold. LA, they don't like the cold. They like it nice and sunny with the palm trees. They're going to be coming down here playing in cold weather. So I think they need to basically, excuse me, we cannot play to lose. And that's what happened in the game against the 49ers, especially with that play call. Mularkey played not to lose instead of playing to win. And you got to play to win. If you don't play to win, why are you in this business? Why are you in this field if you're going to play not to lose? I mean, that sounds like Wizenhunt. And that's what I don't like. Mike Mularkey is playing Fisher Ball 2.0 with Wizenhunt stubbornness. He wants to run the ball, but he will not adapt to his players like Wizenhunt stubborn tail wouldn't do. That got him fired. So, we cannot play scared. Play to win. Play to win. Don't play not to lose. Because most of the time when you do that, you lose. That's exactly what happens. So, that's what we got to do. Those are my Blue Enforcer 4 points to victory. Stop Todd Gurley. Force turnovers. Get after Jared Goff. Have patience on offense. And for everybody, play hard, play aggressive. Don't be scared of this team. But now I want to go into my last, my Blue Bombshell question of the night before we get out of here. And Brandon, I was just thinking about that the other day. I think West Coast offense would fit us perfectly. That would be around what Marcus would like to do, and I think that is something that I think we may need to adapt to try to run. I would like a West Coast offense. I definitely agree. But my Blue Bombshell question was, if the Titans miss the playoffs, with Mularkey going into a lame duck year, does he stay or is he gone at the end of the year? At the end of this year, and I had a poll out on the Titans and True fan club fan page, and I'm gonna go look at that in just a minute. But Shane comes in and says Mularkey stays next year regardless if we make him or not. Next year he needs to prove what he got. He got what it takes, or he will be gone. John Robinson doesn't seem like the type of guy that will continuously settle for average seasons. I can definitely agree with that. I think John Robinson, he's a nice guy, but he's no nonsense. He's the type of guy that he's proud of his team. He wants this team to be victorious, wants this team to be good, wants this team to bring home championships. Dave Lowry comes and said, best thing Titan can do at this point, let Mariota call the plays, go no huddle. We can't go no huddle the whole game, but I think we could go no huddle quite a bit and be effective. So I definitely agree with that. Let's see. And again, I want to say thank you to everybody for your questions, for your comments, everything. So definitely keep that going. That is why I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I really enjoy it very, very much indeed. Yeah, here we go. Here's a lot of comments that I got on the Titans of Truth fan page. I think this is where I'm going to get most of it. I said, what do we think? You got about 12 people saying he goes into a third year with a new OC. So 12 people thinking that he'll go into a lame duck season. You got another 10 that says he gets fired, new coach comes in. Only one person said he'll get extended with a new offensive coordinator. So it looks like a lot of people either want him gone or he gets a new offensive coordinator. Cliff comes in saying Amy will keep him, unfortunately, with a new offensive coordinator. I don't know what Amy Adams-Strong's infatuation is with Mike Mularkey, but she might have to come to her senses and let John Robinson do his job. Let him decide on that. Keha comes and says if they miss the playoffs, he should be fired, but I think they will let him stay one more year with a new offensive coordinator. Chris Frazier says gotta go. Chrome Shines comes in with a Coach Klein from the Water Boy, so that tells me he needs to go. Will Kennedy says Amy will give him one more year, even though that will produce a less than great offensive coordinator. Johnny Goodman says retain Coach Mularkey, let Marcus call his own plays with the assistance of a new offensive coordinator. Now, I agree. We cannot forget where we came from. We were 5-27 in previous years. We're now, I believe, 19-20. But as the year goes, expectations change. And we're supposed to be a team that makes noise in the playoffs. And right now, if we miss the playoffs, I think Mularkey needs to be fired. And I see what Chris Epps is saying. And OC will not come here with 1 year left on Mularkey's contract. That's why I think this could be a year where Mike Mularkey does go if he doesn't make the playoffs. Because no good coordinator is going to want to come here on lame duck status if his job security is not safe. That is an excellent point. And let's see, Will Kennedy says, I think Marcus and John Robinson had a bigger part in bringing us out. If they fix the offense these next 2 games, I'm fine with Mularkey, but Robisky's got to go. Kia says, yep, Marcus and other talent are covering coaches' blemishes. We are winning despite the coaches. Imagine if we had great coaches. Sharon comes in saying, it don't look like OC works with Marcus Mariota on plays. You can tell. My homegirl Nicole comes in. I hope you doing good up there in Boston. You know, definitely get your master's degree. I'm proud of you on that. She says Mularkey has to go. He's got to take Robisky with him. I've tried to be patient with Mularkey, but I've had enough. I thank him for changing the culture, but that's not enough. People want to win and make it to the Super Bowl. It's not going to get easier next year. In fact, this may be the easiest road the Titans had to win the division, and they still couldn't take advantage. Jags will be good for a long time, and so will Houston. Exotic Smash Mouth doesn't work anymore. This isn't the 1980s or even the early 2000s with Eddie George. This is a new league with a new style of play. Great coaches can adapt. Mularkey is average at best. Give Marcus Mariota the tools to be a successful quarterback because he's regressed big time, and we know he can be a star in this league, given the right system. And for those that don't want Mularkey to go, you do realize if they let Robisky go, Mularkey will hire someone to run his same system, and we will continue to see the same old, same old. Time to clean house and get fresh blood. Let's remember what 95% of the league said when Goff was coached by Fisher. Now look at him. New coaches, clean house. Nicole, that is a brilliant take. That is brilliant. A lot of people have said the same thing as far as, Mularkey would just hire the same kind of guy. But I agree. And that's another thing, and I brought this up on the recap show. You got to think about it like this. Titans could have not had it any easier as far as, could not have had it any easier as far as winning the division or getting to the playoffs. If you take a look at next year's opponents, and I'm going to pull them up. I'm pulling that up. Look at who we have. First off, let's take a look at away because the home schedule is daunting. You may want to get your tickets, but this is something. Going away, we got to go to Buffalo next year, who is surging, to Miami. We got to go, we got to go to Dallas with Zeke and Dak. We're going to go to New York to play the Giants. They're going to have a new coach. They're going to have a new coach and GM. We're most likely going to be playing either Kansas City or the Chargers in Kansas City or LA. And then we got our division games with Houston, Indy, and Jacksonville. With a healthy Deshaun Watson, maybe a healthy Andrew Luck, J.J. Watt, and that defense of Jacksonville. Now you look at the home schedule, and this is daunting. We got the New England Patriots. Tom Brady and them are coming in. We got the Jets coming in. We'll have Carson Wentz and the Eagles. If Kirk Cousins stays, the Washington Redskins. We're going to be either facing, most likely, either Pittsburgh or Baltimore, and then our division games. That's a tough slate of teams we're going to have to go against. I mean, you're going to have possibly two teams that are going to be favored to go to the Super Bowl this year in New England and Philly. You also got a resurging Buffalo team that's getting better. Miami is probably going to get better. Dallas is going to be good. And somebody says, sounds like a bunch of being out-coached. I mean, I agree. You're going to have Bill Belichick. You're going to have Doug Peterson. You're going to have Jay Gruden. You're going to have Sean McDermott, Jason Garrett. You're going to have Adam Gase, who's pretty good at offensive play calling. And, I mean, we're going to have a tough road next year. And so I think maybe with some fresh blood, that might exactly be where we need to go. And I mean, and now, Johnny, I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you. Whenever somebody says anything like that, I know you want to preach patience. But my patience is even wearing thin. That's why I feel like my attention turns to Mularkey. I'm 100% behind Nicole on this one, as far as I'm concerned. Patience, expectations change throughout the year. If we were from 3-13 and we went to say 6-10 last year, and then we finished maybe 8-8 or 9-7 this year, you're going up 3 wins a year. Then I can see us saying, patience, bring back Mularkey, we're heading in the right direction. But we went from 3 to 9 wins. And this year we're supposed to be trying to go from 9 to like 10 or 11 wins. And we're vastly underachieving. And Brandon said, and they're saying it's the basic stuff the coaches are messing up. I agree with that. Patience can only last so long. If we were doing well and the offense was looking better and we lost some games to Deshaun Watson or Andrew Luck, then I can see patience being given. But at this point, I have to agree with Nicole. She put an excellent take. I've known Nicole for quite some time. She's a very smart young lady and knows her Titans. So believe me, she's got a valid point. Matter of fact, Nicole, I'm giving you not just a like, I'm giving you a love for that. You are absolutely right. I'm going to defend you. And it's not just because I'm going to give shout out to my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma, and my sisters of Zeta Phi Beta, which Nicole is a part of. But I'm sticking up for her because she has an excellent point. And let's not attack each other, y'all. We all want the same thing. The Titans to be successful. We all want the same thing. Stop attacking each other. Stop talking about you don't know this or you don't know that. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. We can agree to disagree. And if you disagree with something that somebody says, that makes them no less of a fan. Okay? And that's just all I'm trying to preach. I'm not trying to single out nobody or nothing like that. And if it sounds like I did, I apologize. But I'm just saying, we are all in this together. And let's stay together as a family. We're the Tighten Up Nation. We got to show the world that we're together and not apart. Okay? We tighten up together as a family. And before I get out of here, I want to give a shout out for a lot of y'all that may be in the Nashville area. Congratulations to the city of Nashville. They just got awarded a new Major League Soccer franchise. So they are going to be the 24th MLS team that will start in 2020. So we now have 3 pro franchises. Now, I'm not a soccer fan. I watch the World Cup. Don't get me wrong. But it's a new sport I have to learn about. So Nashville Soccer Club is going to the big time. So congratulations to them on that. I know I've ran over an hour. I've talked all of y'all heads off. Thank y'all for sticking with me. My name is Chris. Thank y'all for tuning in to Titans of Truth. Hopefully we're going to be talking about, hopefully we'll be talking about a victory. Chris, I hope I get to enjoy a soccer experience. I'll probably give it a try. But everybody, I'm out of here. Gotta go grab me some food. Hopefully we'll be talking about a Titans victory and maybe playing for a division title next week. I'll holler at y'all. Titans of Truth, out.